Imposter syndrome isn't about confidence, it's about evidence. But here's the part that nobody tells you. You can have a basement full of paintings and still feel like you're faking it. Because the proof that you've built doesn't count because it's invisible proof. You've been improving in the dark, literally, while people who could move your work forward have never even seen it happen. So you end up doing this strange little dance, working harder than ever, but still feeling like an outsider in the rooms that matter. And every time you hear fake it until you make it, a little piece inside of you dies. Because now you're trying to pretend that you belong in a room you haven't quite earned yet, and you know it. And that doesn't build confidence. It makes you feel like more of a fraud. That is what we are talking about today. How to build visible proof that at the same time builds the confidence, the kind that dissolves imposter syndrome because it makes it irrelevant. The real problem isn't your confidence, it's access. You're missing 3 kinds of access: training that would stretch you, people already working at the level that you are aiming for. In other words, connections to people who do that, and access to the rooms where decisions get made about who gets hired, funded, published, or shown. So, what do? You take the classes that you can afford, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, if you're lucky, a year. You post your work online and you hope that the right person notices. You get better. You really do. But then you plateau because you're still learning alone. And feedback from people who are a few levels above you is so important. Meanwhile, you're watching other people move ahead, not because they're more talented, but because they're connected. We all know that your network is your net worth. They're in the room where the opportunities are happening naturally. So when I first moved from Chicago to Munich, and I had a 16-year break from my professional acting career back in the USA, and then I wanted to relaunch it, when I started reaching out, I wasn't just getting rejection. It was worse. I was literally getting nothing, silence, crickets, no auditions, no agents replying, nothing, nowhere to send my work, no clue. And it was that silence that just ate at me. I don't know, maybe you can identify with this. You start to wonder if maybe you missed your moment, or at least that's what I was thinking. And that's what imposter syndrome really is. It's not a mindset issue. It's an evidence gap, because that is what I was missing. I was missing the evidence I needed to give me the confidence to be able to send out my stuff to all of these people and get into the rooms that matter. But they were also missing the evidence that proved that I was on the level that I said I was. You feel like a fraud because you don't yet have the proof that you belong. And I'm not talking about inner proof here. I'm talking about the outer proof, proof other people can actually see. And here's the thing. You cannot think your way across that gap. You have to build your way across it. And that's what we are going to solve today. So here's where most creatives get stuck. You assume the problem is skills, connections, or geography. And while those might be part of the problem, they are not the entire problem. So what you end up doing is you keep working on your craft, hoping somebody will notice and let you in. But almost no one gets discovered like that, right? You have to make yourself findable. You have to take agency, take accountability, radical accountability. And the shift is this: your career isn't something that happens to you. It's something that you can build. You have to put the same creativity into your career that you do into your craft. And here's how. Take that big problem and break it down. Don't ask, how do I get access to everything, right? Or how do I solve all of my problems all at one time? Just ask, what is my first problem? What is the first gap that if I were to solve that, I would get one step closer to my next milestone. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you need training in something specific. Maybe you need to deepen your skills, sharpen your skills. Maybe you need to meet people who hire or publish or show work like yours. Maybe you need feedback from somebody who's already doing what you are trying to do. Pick one thing, just one. And now here's the part that changes everything, because you don't wait for someone to give you that thing. Once you realize what it is that you need, you build the room that gives you that thing. If you want to learn from an expert, bring them in to teach a workshop. You want to meet people who could actually hire you? Make them a guest and you're the host. Let them teach their expertise. This is what I did with casting directors. I hired them. That totally changed the dynamic. Create the space where they can show up and share what they know, and you are the one giving value to them. Literally, when you build the room, you're not asking for access anymore. You're creating it, and you're automatically in it. So here is what happens inside that room. First, you get what you needed: the training, the feedback, the knowledge, the connection, and you're learning and improving. Second, people see that you're doing this. The expert sees you. Everyone else in the room sees you. Your network starts to grow around what you're building. And here's the thing that nobody talks about. That power imbalance that you feel with gatekeepers, well, it changes because you hired them. You are paying them. You are giving them a platform and an audience for their work. And now the two of you are just two professionals working together. You can stand on equal footing with them and talk human being to human being. You are no longer, needing something from them, because you are actually giving something to them. And this world is a give-take. We have to find ways to get ourselves on the same level with the gatekeepers and put ourselves in a position of giving and taking. You can still show them what you do inside the workshop. That's the whole point of it. But the relationship is different. You're not begging, you're collaborating. And then it compounds. Most people take one workshop a year. And, as I said, maybe 4 if you're lucky. But if you're doing this right, you're doing this regularly. And you're doing it out loud, where people can see it. This is people in terms of your peers, which, there are going to be peers inside of your network that are at different levels. But more importantly, you're doing it with the experts, right? And we all know the theory of 5. We are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. Well, most of us are spending time with people just like us, other artists who are struggling, other actors who don't know how to get their foot in the door, whatever it may happen to be. But when you start cultivating relationships with those gatekeepers, whatever you want to call them, that is when you start changing your 5 average person by person. And this is what I mean by compounding. And that's when imposter syndrome fades. Because you're not guessing, you're not hoping, you're doing the work, and everybody can watch you get better. And not only that, everybody is watching you build relationships with these people who are above you. So you start automatically getting put into the same group with those people. And that is the shift. You have to stop waiting and you have to start building. So, before I show you what this looks like, drop a comment and let me know, what is the one gap that if you were to solve that first, you could build your own room? I would love to know what you're working on. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like in real life. This is about learning out loud, right? You keep working on your craft by putting yourself in the room with people who are better than you. I always want to be the dumbest, least talented person in any room that I'm in when I'm trying to improve. Not in every room, but, the rooms where I'm trying to get better. I definitely do not want to be the best person in the room, because we are always going to go to the level, right? Water finds its level. So if you are in a room with people who are smarter than you, better than you, more talented than you, more advanced than you are going to strive to get to their level. And here's the other thing. You don't need to hide it. You can just own whatever phase you're in. You don't need to pretend to be an expert. You don't need to pretend to be better than what you are. Because as soon as you do that, you like shut the door to learning. You just need to be honest about where you are and what you need and what you're learning. People respect that. You know, there's a level of vulnerability and bravery that go hand in hand. So let me tell you about my client, Anna. Anna is an actor who wanted to break into stunt work, but she had no clue how to do it. And, you know, she could have kept waiting around, hoping that some casting director was going to notice that she was particularly athletic, or she could build her own way in. And this is what I helped her to figure out how to do. So the first workshop that we planned together, she hired Tim Vetter, who is a weapons expert for film and television here in Germany, the kind of person who trains actors to handle guns safely on set for, you know, like procedurals and action films. But Tim isn't just a teacher. He also runs the weapons department on major productions, which means he has the ability to hire stunt performers. He's the one who makes those decisions. So Anna invited other actors who also wanted to learn, and by being the one who made it happen, she wasn't just another student, she was the connector. So many different things happened when she did that. First of all, she got her training for free. Second of all, she was making money. But more importantly than that, Tim saw her skills. He saw her lead. And she got paid to learn from the exact person who could hire her. So when that workshop ended, the group wanted more, or at least some of the people in the group wanted more. So Anna organized another session with Tim focused on, you know, deepening what they had already learned. And then Tim suggested to Anna that she add rigging work, you know, the kind of wire work that you see in Mission Impossible when Tom Cruise came down into that room. You know what I'm talking about, I hope. Anyway, he introduced her to two rigging specialists. And now Anna has a third workshop going. And this is all, you know, one a month, basically. That very first workshop is the one that takes the most time to get up and running. But after that, things start to snowball because you are getting connections to different experts through your original expert. You're getting interest in the next workshop from the previous workshop participants. So within a few months, she wasn't just learning anymore. She was becoming the person that other actors came to for access to top-level stunt work training. And she was developing real skills while she was growing a network and visibility that most actors spend years chasing. And through it all, she was learning out loud. She was posting what she was working on, and she could share what she learned. And every new workshop gives her a legitimate reason to reach out to casting directors and say, hey, I just completed this advanced weapons training, or hey, now I'm learning how to do rigging work. So she's building visible proof that compounds, and she's doing it in a way that also builds relationships, not only with the experts that she hires, but with the experts who also have the ability to hire her, like casting directors or directors. So all of that, everything compounds. And imposter syndrome just doesn't have space to breathe anymore. So she's not asking if she belongs, she's showing it, and that's learning out loud. You build the visible proof and you do it regularly enough that people can't miss it. Imposter syndrome needs three things to survive: secrecy, comparison, and pretending. But when you're learning out loud, all three disappear. You're not hiding your gaps. You're actually closing them in public. You're not comparing yourself to people online. You're working beside them. You're not pretending to belong. You are building the spaces where you already do. Confidence doesn't come from pretending. It never does. Doesn't come from pretending. Doesn't come from preparing. It doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing, from seeing yourself follow through again and again. You build that trust. And the more visible that doing becomes, the less room there is for doubt. My mother-in-law used to say, Vertrauen ist gut, Kontrolle ist besser. And literally translated, that means trust is good, control is better. And I always have to laugh because that is so German. But you know what? She's right. The thing is, I would change it just a little bit for our context. And I would say confidence is good, but proof is better. You stop chasing confidence altogether because you don't need it. You have proof. So here's what this really means. While most creatives are saving up for one workshop a year, you are doing this monthly. You know, when I first relaunched my acting career and was just trying to get my skills and confidence back to where they needed to be, I was organizing 2, sometimes 3 of these a month. So when you're doing it on that scale, you're getting paid to learn from the exact people who can hire you. And you're building relationships with the exact people that you want to be like. You're building proof and visibility at the same time. And that is how you dissolve imposter syndrome. Not by thinking differently, though thinking differently is, of course, important, but by building differently. Now, if you are saying, okay, but how do I actually do this? I've actually created a step-by-step playbook called the Escape Route Playbook that teaches you exactly how to identify your own gaps and then how to fill them step by step so you reach your own milestones one at a time until you get to your goal. And it's free. You can download that in the description below. That's where the link is. But if you are really serious about getting more agency in your own career and getting the visibility and the access that your career deserves, then why don't you book a free call and let's see if we can do this in a way that gets you the support and the coaching you need to really make sure that you are doing this as quickly and as strategically as possible. So I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. I hope that this was a little bit of a paradigm shift for you. If it is, let me know in the comments. Definitely share this with another creative who you think could use this advice as well. And lastly, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel because this is what this channel is all about. Teaching creatives how to get the visibility and access they need in their careers from anywhere in the world. Look, if I could do it as a 47-year-old American woman from Munich, you can do it from wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.